This is an output of a PyTest run. It is great for engineers and for QAs, but it's not something you would share with your manager, you would share with your team or product people. This is an Allure report. Now, this is what you would want to share with people so they can see it and understand what's going on a lot easier. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to go from here, from the terminal, to this, which is the report. So the reason we want to generate the reports is not just for sharing it, even for us QAs ourselves, it is extremely important. Because most of the time, well, almost all the time, the point of writing automation tests is so it will run in cicd, which will run in the cloud. So we're not going to sit here and watch the browser go and watch the test run, even if it's an API test. Normally, we develop it, we work on it on our machines, but we will going to integrate it into a CI/CD pipeline. Even if it's not a CI/CD pipeline, it's like a standalone scheduled job, still is going to be in the cloud, and it's going to be scheduled to run every night, every hour, whatever your need is. So you need to go back and look at the report. You need to go back and look at what's going on. Now, if you have like an old school setup, like Jenkins type of setup, yeah, you can just go and look at the terminal. Still long story, but you can still look at the console in Jenkins. But most of the time these days, everything runs in Docker. And once the container is done, all your stuff is gone. You will have to save something, and you're not going to save an output of the console. You actually have to save either the logs, which is possible, but why not be professional and save reports where you have this visual that makes it a lot easier to see what's going on, what has happened, and most importantly, screenshot. When a test fails, a report can generate a screenshot, and I'm going to talk about that in a different video. First, we got to see how to generate that report. So in PyTest, there are two popular types of reports. There's an HTML report and an Allure report. The easiest one to start with is just a basic HTML report. And if you just go to Google and just Google pytest HTML, and usually it's the first one that shows up. It is pretty popular, but I'd like the Allure one, but this is much simpler. So we're going to start with this. So if you just search for that pytest HTML, you will be able to find information about that. It's very, very straightforward. Even this, they have an example where the screenshot is attached to the report, but that's not by default. You have to actually implement that. So now let's go back to our code. I have this framework for you. I've been creating like a series of PyTest tutorials, and I'm using this framework here. It's in GitHub, and the link is in the description, so you should be able to run these tests. Now here in the requirements.txt for this project, you do see pytest HTML. So it's as easy as just installing it. You can do pip install pytest HTML. Obviously, I already have it, but that's how you install it if you don't have the requirements.txt. That's the only thing you need. You literally just install that library using pip in your virtual environment. That's it. Once you do that, you just run test. So now I'm going to run everything that is in this test folder. So I'm just going to say pytest test folder. Now, if I do want to generate a report, I'm going to do --html, and I'm just going to give it a path where you want it to output the report. And it's going to be relative to your current path, whatever you say it here. So if I just say report.html, it's going to create it here. If I give it like a folder name, so right now I'm just going to say reports, that's going to be my folder, / I'm going to just call it my report.html, just to see it's not custom. I want to give it like a unique name. So you know it's not something that just automatically gets created. You have to give it a name. Now, if you see in our framework here, we don't have any folder called reports. And the location, you can see I'm in the PyTest demo folder. I'm in the root of my project. So we're going to run this. I'm going to put -v just for my own thing so I can see what's going on a little bit better. Now this is going to run. It's going to run all the front end. I think I saw like about 40 tests or so because I've been creating examples. So it's growing a little bit. Yours is going to have about 40 tests in there. So we're just going to wait for this to finish. It just finished, and there is 6 failed, 36 passed, and there's some X failed and things like that. And here it gives you the paths, the full paths of the report that was generated. And here we can see there is a new folder called reports. And if we expand it, we do have our HTML right there. And we do have our assets, which is just a CSS. They don't even have a JavaScript file here. So the CSS and the HTML. And we're going to see another option. So the CSS will be inside of the HTML instead of outside. So we're just going to open this, not even open it. You can open it in preview, of course, but what I like to do, I just copy the paths. You can also copy this path here and just go to the browser and load up that report. Voila, this is the HTML report. and just explore this, right? It wouldn't make sense for me to just go through everything that's going on, but it gives you the platform information, what platform is it running on, which version of the HTML you have, some of the plugins you have, just information that could be useful, but most importantly, the failed and passed test. And automatically have the failed ones expanded, and it has the logs. Even though you have the log level set to info, and your terminal is much cleaner, because see how our terminal is not logging a whole lot of stuff, right? Our terminal is not just logging, barely logging anything really. But if a test fails, the report would have all the logs. So it basically runs it as a debug almost. It's not what that's not what it's doing, but it's just outputting all the logs into the report if it fails. Okay, so if we look at this, there's a bunch of failed ones and there's a bunch of passed ones. So if we look at the passed one, there's a print statements will show up, but no, I'm not using logging, so it won't show up. But that's what it is. So you can collapse everything. You can say show all details, hide all details. You can see it like this. The X failed ones are there, the skipped ones are there. So it will show you all the HTML. And if you have some custom code, if you customize it, you could have screenshots right here on the side. Now, it's as simple as that. So just as a reminder, I'm going to clear this, and the command is --HTML and the paths where you want the HTML to be output. What I'm going to do, I'm going to delete this reports one, so you can see it being generated again. I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to have one more option. In addition to the HTML file, when we look at the documentation, in fact, I don't even remember, it's like self-contained or something. Not on this page, we have to go to the documentation. We go to documentation here. It's a very simple their guide, and we're going to pass in this self-contained. So just so we don't have the CSS outside, and if you want to share that HTML file, if you want to send it to somebody, then you just send them one file. Otherwise, you're going to have to like zip it or something so you can have the CSS and the HTML. But to have it in one file is much easier. So I'm just going to add this extra flag, self-contained HTML. So I'm going to go to my VS Code, paste that in, and that's it. I got the command, and this is going to run everything. The same thing happens, nothing's going to be new, except there will not be a CSS file in the output. It will only be that HTML file. So we're just going to wait for this, and we're going to see the result. There you go, it finished. Now when I go to reports, as you can see, there is only one file with the HTML. So that's the easiest one, PyTest HTML. Now let's talk about Allure. Allure is another reporting tool, but this one is a little bit more complicated. You need to install Allure itself. So Allure is an application. It's not a PyTesting. Allure is a reporting tool that is very, very popular. Actually, it's pretty powerful. So if you just say first, search for Allure, just search or Allure reporting. Allure is a common reporting. I think there's like a lot of companies called Allure. So if you go to Allure reporting, this has information about Allure, and it supports a lot of things. It's not just about PyTest. It supports so many different frameworks, Python, Java frameworks, all kinds of things. It's just a reporting tool on its own. So read the documentation, look at how to install it. But if you are on a Mac, you just do brew install. On a Windows, there is installation, right? This video is like how to use it. So look at how to install it. You don't have to do configuration and all of that. You don't have to do anything fancy. You just install it. You do need Java. It's a Java-based application. You do need Java. Once you install Allure, right? I'm going to just let you do that. You're going to look at the documentation, installation guide, and they have Windows, Mac, Linux, whatever platform you're in. Pretty simple. If you're on a Mac, it's just as simple as brew. Okay. If you are on a Windows, not a very much a window user, but Scoop, I'd assume Scoop is like a package manager for Windows, just like a brew for a Mac. It's kind of like pip specific for Python, but it would automatically just go find the package and install it. So whatever platform you're in, install it, and you just do Allure version to see if you have it or not. I can do that just so you know what version I have. I can run that. Let me clear this. I'm going to do Allure version. There you go. I have that version at this time. Actually, I installed this probably like a year or two ago. Now, once you do that, the next thing is you do need to install now specific for PyTest. So if you just search for PyTest Allure, you're going to have information about PyTest Allure. You have the official documentation here, and you also have the pip where you're going to install it. It will show you how to install it, how to generate. Very straightforward again. In the requirements.txt, you would have Allure PyTest. You just install that. I'm installing this specific version, pip, install that guy, and it says pretty much satisfied. Okay, now after that, when you run it, in fact, let's look at the examples. All you have to do is you give it a folder name, Allure dir, that's the option. So we're going to repeat the same command that I had. Or let's clear this up actually. Here, if I get it right. Oh my god, I can't even type. So I'm going to do pytest, the test folder. Now the option is allure dir. So I'm going to call it my allure in this case. And what else you need to give it? That's pretty much it. The folder where the tests are, it can come first or it can come last. It doesn't matter. You hit enter, and voila, the same test starts to run, and we're going to see what happens after. So let that run. While that is running, we can come back here, and you're going to do allure serve in that folder. So there's one more command. It's not like the HTML one where you just run it, the HTML gets generated, and you're done with it. Allure is a little bit different. It's a little bit more complicated. That's why it is pretty fancy as well. So let's allure serve. Let's just go here. This is done. We can see if we look at my allure, there is tons of files. So it's going to put a bunch of JSON files, right? You don't have to deal with that. You don't have to open it or anything. What you got to do is you're just going to run the command allure serve in the folder. My allure. Hit enter. It's going to start a web server, like a built-in web server. Then it's going to open the report. And voila, here we are. We have the report here. And you get to see the percentage right up there. You get to see, you can break it down. Like I can go to the backend folder and see how many failed, which one failed. There's a lot you can customize here, but at the beginning level, that's all you need. Then once you get comfortable with this, then you start to customize it and create what you want. Same thing, you can add screenshots on failure. Again, that's something you have to implement within your PyTest framework. So you can see the screenshot when it fails. That's actually really important because your test is running in the cloud. You don't see what the browser is doing. You just know it failed. So you want to know, what did it look like when my test failed, right? What did it look like when my test failed? So having a screenshot in the report is actually really, really awesome. It is very, very useful. So I want to keep this video focused on generating the report and not getting into the individual report itself. So I definitely will create a follow-up video specifically about that, about a Allure report and how to configure it, how to add screenshots and things like that, like a walkthrough of this report. Because there is a lot you can do with that. Let's go back to overview. You can just dig deeper into each of those tests. There's a lot to do with it. You can give it IDs. You can customize the way it shows up, the way you describe it. There's a lot of decorators you can add to your tests to make to customize this. So there's a lot more to do. That's outside of the scope of this, right? I want to show you how to generate reports in this one. And on a different video, which I'll link in the description, I'll make sure I'll link it in the description or the card right at the end of this video. There's like right card or left card. Click on that so you can dive deeper into Allure. I'll make sure I'll add that, and I'll just add a little bit more customization and things like that for the Allure report. And of course, I'll provide the code to attach the screenshot. That's one of the most important ones. All right. So hopefully you enjoyed this. So the two different kinds of reports: the HTML report and then the HTML report, and then the Allure report, which is a much more professional way of doing things. Or the CI/CD pipelines like Jenkins and GitHub Actions, GitLab CI, they all support Allure. It's pretty awesome, and I'm going to make sure I'll create videos on that as well in the future. So make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, subscribe. All I do is create content related to QA automation and software testing. Check out my website, supersqa.com. Right now, I have a 101 coaching. I have open spot, so you can work with me directly if you want to become an sdet software engineer in test, not just an automation engineer, actually a software engineer, because I cover CI/CD and the whole shebang, really. So I also have a membership, a much more affordable membership where you have self-paced courses. You can ask me questions and things like that if you want to do that, as opposed to one-on-one coaching. But check out what I have to offer if you want to work with me and grow into a QA automation role. Let me know if you have questions. I'm very happy to answer. If you have a specific question about this video, you can put it in the comments. I'm very happy to respond. So make sure you click on this video or this video and go ahead and watch the next one.